Rawteur, A24 is no longer the boutique indie studio that you fell in love with. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I feel like that Harvey Dent quote sums up exactly where A24 is heading. They started out trying to be the opposite of a Hollywood studio. Now, they're slowly turning into the very thing they rejected. They bought a theater, put a restaurant inside, launched a makeup line, dropped merch that sells out like sneakers. They've even got a music label, a subscription program, and none of this feels like an accident. It's still got that A24 aesthetic, still feels edgy, niche, but if you take a step back, it's not that different from what big studios are doing. It's just quieter, little cooler, but better dressed, right? In the beginning, A24 felt like it was one of ours. It was made for a small niche of people who fell in love with the independent film channel, IFC. Those of us who reveled in the controversial themes of Train Spotting, Kids, Enter the Void, even Green Street Hooligans. You see, when A24 popped onto our collective radars, it wasn't about big trailers or massive marketing pushes. Their films just showed up quietly and unassuming. But once you saw one, it stuck with you. The Witch, Uncut Gems, Uncut Gems. Talk about anxiety. We all remember Talk to Me as well. I mean, they even re-released Darren Aronofsky's Pi for its 25th anniversary. They didn't go after franchises or safe bets. They backed stuff that felt specific, a little raw, a little strange, and the people who loved A24 movies really loved them. It didn't feel like a studio. It felt like someone putting you on to something, like when a friend tells you, no, you seriously need to watch this. That's what it was. I mean, remember Spring Breakers? I mean, the movie where Selena Gomez and Vanessa Hudgens and two other actresses become criminals in Miami with James Franco. I mean, I didn't even realize A24 was behind it, but it makes sense now. I mean, if you look at the reviews now, they're not great. Maybe it didn't age well and Gen Z doesn't like it. I mean, as usual, no shade. But at the time, that was one of those movies that spread through word of mouth. Everyone was talking about it. People online started saying things like, A24 gets it. This is what movies are supposed to be. And yeah, there was some snob energy behind the whole A24 sentiment, but there was also pride because it felt like we were in early before everyone else caught on. See, that was the magic. It wasn't supposed to blow up. Just stay weird and stay small and stay ours. There wasn't one big moment where A24 changed. It happened in pieces. See, they bought the Cherry Lane Theater in New York, a historical little venue in the West Village. Now, that made sense. It fit the brand, a space for art, for performance. Then they announced they were renovating it. Still cool, still artsy. But then they added a restaurant, full service, from well-known New York chefs. Now, it's not just a theater, it's an experience. Then came the app. Not a streaming platform, not yet anyway, but a hub. Then there's behind the scenes videos. They have bonus content. The app is also a digital storefront. Then came the makeup line. Then came the music label. Then came the pop-ups in Tokyo, the sold out merch drops, the collaborations with streetwear brands. And suddenly it started to feel familiar. Not in a comforting way though, in a this is how it starts way. This is what every major studio does once they scale. They build out, they branch into music, into fashion, into lifestyle. Except when Disney or someone else does it, we call it synergy. When A24 did it, we called it cool. But the structure's the same. Multiple verticals, shared IP, recurring revenue, brand loyalty, I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of this. Growth isn't the issue. But when a company builds its entire identity on being different, on protecting art from all the machinery that usually ruins it, you notice when they start acting just like everyone else. They didn't announce it. They didn't say, hey, we're changing, but the choices are starting to stack up. And if you've been watching from the beginning, you can feel it. It's not just about movies anymore. It's about building something bigger. And whether that's good or bad kind of depends on how much of A24 you still feel like you own. See, there wasn't a scandal, there was no sellout headline, but at some point, it just stopped feeling like it was ours. You saw someone wearing an A24 hoodie, and they couldn't name more than 1 or 2 A24 movies. You walked into one of the pop-up shops, and it felt like a sneaker drop more than a film event. You watched Everything Everywhere all at once sweep the Oscars, and suddenly brands were making multiverse commercials. A24 didn't do anything wrong. They just got big. But when a brand like this gets big, something gets lost. You know, you used to feel like you discovered something. Now it feels like you're watching everyone else catch up. And yeah, maybe that's selfish, but that's what happens when you love something early. It's like watching your favorite underground artist start charting. First it's one hit, then it's a Grammy, then a car commercial, then a Netflix cameo, and you're happy for them, of course, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. One thing you have to remember is to clap the like button. A24 used to feel personal. Now it feels packaged. Same aesthetic, same tone, but the connection's not as sharp. You still want them to win. You still root for the films, but deep down, there's this weird feeling that you've been left behind. Not because they forgot about you, but because now everyone's invited, and that thing that made it feel special might be gone. And yeah, this was always going to happen. I mean, if you want an indie studio to survive, it has to grow. And if it grows, it has to scale. And once it scales, it doesn't feel indie anymore. I mean, A24 raised $225 million. The company's valued now at around $3.5 billion. That's not scrappy, right? That's not boutique. That's a business that needs to show a return, and fast. So yeah, they're making bigger movies now. Civil War had a $50 million budget. They're looking at franchise opportunities, exploring IPs, licensing more merchandise, launching more verticals, not because they sold out, because they have to justify the growth, because that's how valuation works. And it's not even unique to them. This is what happens when any creative company builds a brand around authenticity. Eventually, they hit a point where staying small just isn't an option anymore. So the merch becomes a drop. The artist becomes a brand, the studio becomes a platform. And even if the movies still feel personal, the company behind them doesn't. None of this makes A24 the villain. Not yet, anyway. But it does mean they're not exactly the hero anymore. See, that space they used to fill, fighting the system, championing the weird stuff, giving a home to stories no one else would touch, that version of them might not exist in the same way going forward. And maybe that's okay, but it also means we have to stop pretending there's something they're not. So, no, A24 didn't sell out. They made smart business decisions. They scaled, they figured out how to grow without losing the vibe, at least for a while. And even now, they're still making good work. I mean, some of it's incredible. That hasn't changed, but the relationship has. They're not the underdog anymore. They're not the secret you pass between friends. They're not yours. They've entered that weird space where people love the brand more than they love the films. And maybe that's just what happens when you do your job too well. They earned the trust. They delivered. They stood out, and now they've crossed over. So no, they're not becoming the villain because they got bigger. They're becoming the villain because success always looks like betrayal when the thing you loved becomes something everyone else loves too. And to a degree, we all knew that was gonna happen eventually. We just hoped it wouldn't happen yet. So now I guess the question is, does it still feel like the same A24 to you? Let me know in the comments. And for more videos like this, check out this one right here.